and a beautiful welcome to Diasporan Sports on Diasporan TV. Of course, across the United States, there's no African television, so this team put up the show to update all Africans across the globe. Team led by Gabriel Odabe is indeed bringing you live television broadcast from the Bronx, here in New York City, USA. My name is Prince, and on the menu for today's show, we have 5 former Black Star players tagged to win the AFCON 2019 for Ghana. Also, the Under-17 African Cup of Nations. The story so far, we have Ghana and other teams booking their place together with Guinea, and they have qualified already for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup slated for India later in the year. We have FIFA Under-20 World Cup also happening now. How is it shaping up? 4 African teams are there, and we have track and field. We will take a preview of the 5,000 men's competition in the 2017 Diamond League event slated for Eugene, Oregon, USA this coming Saturday, May 27. And we have European top soccer leagues run-up, Juventus winning in Italy. We have English Premiership title going to Chelsea, the French title going all the way to Monaco, and the German title is for the Bundesliga giant, Bayern Munich. Of course, Real Madrid won the Spanish title at the final part of the La Liga. We'll talk more on other sports. This is Diasporan Sports on Diasporan TV. We are pausing for our first break for messages from our sponsors.
Prestige Travel and Tours Promotion Inc. Fly now to Accra, Abuja, Abidjan, Lagos, Johannesburg, and many more. Special non-stop service from Washington to Accra via South African Airlines. Introductory rate of $899. Fly Prestige. Call us now at 1-800-232-9638.
Thanks so much for staying tuned and a delightful welcome back to the program. This is Diasporan Sports on Diasporan TV. We'll begin from Ghana, where the GFA has reconstituted the technical team of the senior national team, the Black Stars, as the Ghana team embark on another journey to capture the eluded Africa Cup of Nations trophy. The GFA has unveiled former player and coach Kwesi Appiah as the new coach of the Black Stars. 3 other former players, Ibrahim Tanko, as he's going to be the assistant one, together with Stephen Appiah as the technical and team coordinator, and Richard Kinson as goalkeepers trainer. Of course, Ibrahim Tanko will partner Maxwell Kunedu as the 2 deputy coaches, and they will help the backroom staff. Now, Maxwell Kunedu is another former player and is being retained as one of the assistants to Kwesi Appiah. The 5 respected former players have been tasked by the GFA to win the 2019 African Cup of Nations slated for Cameroon. Now, let me introduce to you my guests in the studio. I have Kalusha at my left. Kalusha, how are you doing? Good to see you today.
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I also have my man Richard at my right. Richard, how are you?
Great.
Good to see you. Now, let me begin with you. Kalusha, GFA naming these 5 former players to lead the Black Stars. What do you make of this?
It's always good to task people to do a certain job, because when you want somebody to do a job for you, the person they need to get a job specification. One thing about this core of players is that Kwesi Appiah was a member of the 1992 AFCON in Senegal, and then Ibrahim Tanko played in South Africa in 1996. When it comes to Richard Kinson, he has played more than 4 AFCONs. He was there in South Africa in 1996. He played in 2000 and 2006 and 2008 and 2010. Richard Kinson, Olele Kinson. And then when it comes to Maxwell Kunedu didn't play in any of AFCONs, but he was among the first Ghana team that won the bronze medal in Spain.
That was in Barcelona 1992.
1992, yeah.
Exactly.
So almost all the players have played in AFCON, so they know what it takes to win the big trophy. So it's good for the FA to task them to do something good, because as I already said, if you give somebody a job and they don't give the person that will do this for me, then that's not a job. Okay,
so you think it's a right call?
Yes.
The 5 players can do the magic for the Black Stars.
That's right.
Ghana has been waiting over 3 decades since they won the African Cup back in 1983 in Libya.
But my bone of contention is that normally, are they going to the players, are they going to cooperate with the coach? Are they going to listen to instructions and all that? If that is yes, then I think 2019 Ghana can bring the cup back. Okay, so you think the 5 players can... So you think the 5 former players can do the magic for Ghana?
They can do it.
All right.
They need a cooperation from the players. Richard, Since Ghana won the African Cup in 1982 in Libya, the country continues toiling, battling it out. They've seen great players, the Bedi Peles, Michael Essence, the Stephen Appiahs, and they're yet to win the AFCON. These 5 former players never won the African Cup title. Do you think they can help the current team to win the African Cup title?
Well, I believe they have what it takes to help the team to win the Nations Cup. The GFA is calling this particular team the dream team. I call them the favored team. The reason why I refer to them as a favored team is that they come in at a time that Ghanaians are fed up with foreign coaches. We want to see our own handling the team. They come in at a time that both the biggest political parties we have in the country are supporting them. Remember, the NDC administration wanted a local coach. They have it now. The current administration, Nana Akufo-Addo administration, wanted a local coach. They have it now. So, and you see, what they've done is to just make sure that they bring some few guys who knows the in and out of the team together and let them work. But my problem is this. And if you look at the team now, it's being headed by Kwesi Appiah. He made some mistakes, and he says he's going to correct them. But already he's starting on a wrong footing. And because I'm saying he's starting on a wrong footing, because he has plans to bring in some other guys who were not born in Ghana again. I heard him that he wanted to bring in the likes of Inaki Williams and this young guy from Manchester United. So he tells you that the man is maybe going back to those mistakes that cost him his job. But my belief in these guys are that, listen, they've seen it all on this planet, and they have what it takes to at least make sure, encourage the guys and tell them, listen, this is our time. 2019, if they fail to get us a title, this particular 5 coaches or 5 guys, former players, will not do only Ghanaian soccer fans a disservice. But I think their former colleagues who are also itching to become coaches one day, they will be disappointed because
what is wrong with the coach giving opportunity to players who are not born in Ghana or have a background outside the country, like Ofosu Mensah of Manchester United? Are you talking about?
My problem is this. He did that. He brought Kevin Prince Boateng back, and he had a problem with the team. And I'm only hoping that at this time...
Kevin was in the team before Kwesi Appiah.
Yes, but at the point Kevin was out of the team, he brought him back.
Yeah.
And Kevin...
And he still says he has, if he is playing well, he has the opportunity to play for the
Well, so you have to... Kalusha made mention of cooperation. I believe in commitment. You have to look at the commitment level of the players. Do you have enough materials, or you think that you still need some other guys to come in? Fine, I believe in looking around, all over around, to make sure you have a good team for the nation, the Black Stars. But make sure that the guys that you bring them on board are committed enough for for Mother Ghana.
All right. You are talking about commitment. Kalusha is talking about cooperation. That's it with the Ghana national football team and the 5 former players who have been appointed to lead the Black Stars. Away from that, the under-17 national team of Niger made history by qualifying for the country's first ever FIFA tournament after defeating Tanzania 1-0 in Port Gentil to finish second in Group B in the ongoing African Under-17 Championship. The tournament in Gabon is serving as Africa's final qualifying rounds for the 2017 FIFA Under-17 World Cup slated for India in October. Now, Niger, they were in Group B, and together with winners Mali, they joined fellow semi-finalists Ghana and Guinea on the plane to India. Meanwhile, in Wednesday's semi-finals, Ghana will face Niger in Port Gentil, while Mali take on Guinea in Libreville. This is another interesting news for Africa. First, Richard, we already have 4 qualified teams to the World Cup. It's open now. But Ghana, being the first team to qualify, after 2 matches, they had 6 points and they booked the place. What do you make of the qualification so far?
Well, it was smooth, especially the first 2 matches that they played. They qualified from the first 2, and against Guinea, they were a bit relaxed because they realized that they have won already. They are through to the semi-final, and they have already booked a ticket to India. So you could see that they relaxed a bit against Guinea. But the interesting thing that I'm looking at is the West African angle. Ghana, Guinea, Mali, Niger. Amazing. It tells you that the age competition, I keep on saying that, is getting keener and keener. Can you imagine Niger going to their first FIFA organized tournament? They have never been to any FIFA competition, and they are there. So for now, we're looking at the semi-final that maybe looks like everybody may be thinking that this competition is for Ghana and against Niger. I don't see Niger stopping Ghana. Mali, I'm sure, will also sail through. So I'm looking at Mali, Ghana in the final.
Interestingly, he's looking at Ghana-Mali final. Kalusha, the Malians are the defending champions of this competition. They won it 2 years ago. And do you think they will be in the final to defend the title, or you think Ghana can pull a surprise, or any of the other two teams, Guinea or Niger?
Oh, Mali can pull up the surprise because a champion is always a champion. And then they mean they conquered Africa, and they're going to do the same thing. But then Ghana, right now, what Ghana is battling now is that most of their players has been hit by malaria. So in their last match against Guinea, about 6 of their players or couldn't play in that match against Guinea. That ended in goalless draw. So Pakwesi Fabian is trying to give them some medication for them to be fit. So against Niger, Pakwesi, what he's saying right now is that he don't have the full strength of his squad, because most of them has been hit by that malaria. So maybe if that one is a mind game or something of that sort, I cannot tell. But that's what he's saying. But then, association football, when we started the competition, I said that the Group B wasn't a group to talk about. But as the tournament progresses, you could see that Niger has been able to do something.
So is your mind changed about the groupings now?
That's right.
Thank you very much. I would love to hear that over and over again. Thank you. But this is the African Under-17 Championship, and it's good that the competition is getting keener and keener. Let's move away from Under-17, and before we talk about the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, we need to pause here and pick some messages from our sponsors. Let me mention Prestige Tax and Travel Services. Great work there by Prestige. We say thank you for sponsoring this show, and we hope you continue sponsoring this program. Likewise, to Gold Coast Trading Company, we thank you so much for your support. We want to hear from you, and our loyal fans also want to hear from you. We'll be back after these commercials.
What started off as a traditional African market is now home to worldwide cuisines. Gold Coast Trading has all the ingredients to create delicacies from continent to continent. And Gold Coast Trading is your destination for all your ethnic food needs.
Thanks so much, folks, for staying with us. This is Diasporan Sports on Diasporan TV. This is your #1 sports program designed for Africans across the diaspora. We're now talking FIFA Under-20 World Cup, which commenced over the weekend in South Korea with some intriguing first-round results. Of course, we have African representation there, and notable results include South Korea beating Guinea, the African representation, 3-0 in the first game. As hosts, they had the right to actually celebrate. And later on, we saw Argentina. They've been the most successful team in the tournament. They lost 3-0 as well to England. Then in Group B, Venezuela beat Germany 2-0, and Vanuatu also lost 3-2 to Mexico. This is what happened in Group B. And for Group C, Zambia 2, Portugal 1, Iran 1, Costa Rica 0, and Group D, South Africa lost 2-1 to Japan, whilst Italy also lost by a solitary goal to Uruguay. Then for Group A, France 3, Honduras 0, Vietnam settled goalless with New Zealand. For Group F, Ecuador 3, USA 3, Saudi Arabia lost to African giant Senegal, and we will see what the African representation will do in the second round of the cup. And Kalu, you saw the display of the African teams there. I mean, Senegal starting so well. South Africa, even though they lost their game to Japan, we've seen Guinea losing 3-0. What do you make of the initial stages?
Initial stages are always tough for African, most especially the Africans are slow starters. But in this game, the Senegalese who were in semi-finals in New Zealand about 2 years ago, they are showcasing their talents that when they come to the world stage, they know how to play the game, and they are on to do some magic.
But don't you think they didn't play against a top-notch side? Because they played against Saudi Arabia.
We are not talking about every team is a top-notch. Right now, we begin to understand that a team, by its
so far as the team has qualified, the team
that's right,
is competitive.
Yeah. But then one thing I was not, that's why you are looking at the African angle, that this player, we call Nicolas de la Cruz from Uruguay. We should look out for this guy.
You like his play?
The guy is so phenomenal.
After watching his first game, you were in love with him.
I'm in love with him.
Okay, Richard, what do you make of the stats of the tournament, FIFA Under-20 World Cup, the only African country to have won the Under-20 World Cup is Ghana. Do you think we can emulate what happened in 2009?
Well, so far it looks very bleak for the African contingent. It's only Senegal and Zambia who were able to pick a win, which tells you that, I mean, South Africa and Guinea will have to back it up. Let's hope that the second round will produce some good results for Africans. I watched Ecuador versus the US, and that game ended 3-3. Amazingly, the Ecuadorians took the lead early, and they doubled it, but US managed to come back. Then the goalkeeper made a mistake, and Ecuador took a 3-2 lead.
Drama in football.
But at the final, I mean, late in the game, US equalized and made it 3-3. But there was one thing that I noticed. There was this Ghanaian boy who is playing for the US national team under 20. The name is Derek Jones Amenyampong. He plays for Philadelphia Union. He's an excellent player for Philadelphia. If you look at the 20-year boy who is playing so well in the Major League Soccer, I'm not surprised he's doing so well. Unfortunately, he started the game from the bench. When he came in, that was the time he solidified the US midfield, and they managed to claw back into the game. And I tell you, what I've seen from that guy, just like Alicia mentioned, a lot of the guys will come up from this under-20 championship.
As usual, every time FIFA under-20 produces a lot of talent, and they keep producing the best from their youthful level. That's how it should be. The engine room of world football is the under-20. The Agueros, the Messis, the Odate Lamtes, the Nwankwo Kanus, mention the great players you've seen across the globe, they all played at the under-20 level, or most of them really played at the FIFA Youth Championship. Right, so we've seen great talent being displayed at the FIFA under-20 level, and let's now move from the FIFA World Youth Championship and talk track and field, where a collection of the world's best middle and long distance runners in the 5,000 meters at the Prefontaine Classic will provide a preview of the IAAF World Championships London 2017 final when they take to the start line at the IAAF Diamond League meeting in Eugene, Oregon, this Saturday, May 27. Now, more than half of next Saturday's 5,000 men's competition have an Olympic or World Championships medal of sorts. So you can see how key the competition will be. Mo Farah of Great Britain now has 9 major gold medals. Kenyan-born American Paul Kipkemoy Chilemu was the surprise silver medalist in Rio, taking 15 seconds off his personal best with 13.03.90 to earn USA's first Olympic 5,000 meters medal since 1964. Now, Ethiopian Hagos Gebrehewit Behi already has 3 global medals in the 5,000 meters and will try to inspire his countryman, 19-year-old Yomif Kijelka, who has twice won in Eugene. Now, at the age of 16, he was the youngest winner ever in this event at the World Junior Championships back in 2014. And Kenyan Geoffrey Kipsang Kamworo has the most major golds of anyone in the field except Farah. And we've seen him being crowned with about 5 gold medals and 4 silver medals in his 9 races so far. Another Kenyan, an Olympic steeplechase champion, Conseslus Kipruto, won his first pre-classic in 2013 at the age of 18. He will also venture in this year's 5,000 meters in Eugene. Another notable long-distance runners taking the field in Eugene this Saturday include world silver medalist Caleb Mwangangi Ndiku, also from Kenya, and Somali-born Canadian Mohamed Ahmed, who owns the fastest time in the world so far for 2017. So great athletes ready to run, and once again, about half of the athletes to take part in the marathon have world medals, either gold, bronze, silver, and they're all ready to compete. Kalu, what do you make of the Diamond League so far, African participation? Last time we spoke about the South African winning 100 meters. This time, 5,000 meters coming up. Mo Farah, staunch athletes, best of all-time best athletes of Great Britain, and you have lots of Africans trying to contest him for this title. What do you make of it?
Most especially, you know that the 5,000 meters race is meant for the Kenyans and at times the Ethiopians.
Originally, Mo Farah is a Somalian. He grew in England.
No, but the Somalians, they don't know how to run this thing. He's a one of the kind, coming from Somalia and went all the way to England, and then he's performing well. So the Kenyans are now very, very, they want to do something because it's been a long time that they've won this particular race. It's a Diamond League. It's not Olympic game that the people use strategy to win something like gold. So this is a Diamond League. Everybody want to accumulate points so that they can have some money in their pockets. When you look at the records or the time that people have been doing for this particular season, you know, Mora Farah is about somewhere in the 5th position with a 12 minute 53 seconds, 53 seconds, and 11 microseconds. So it means that you have some crop of guys who are doing well in that distance. So it's going to be a tough encounter. I'm just hoping that somebody from Kenya will win.
He's hoping somebody from Kenya will win. Richard, what do you make of the African participation in the Diamond League?
Well, the Diamond League, as we always say, is just about picking points. But I keep on saying...
If any athlete wins an event, the athlete runs away with $10,000.
Yes.
Even though you're trying to accumulate points. And the overall winner in any event at the final runs away with $50,000. So
yes,
money is at stake.
And it's not only about the money. It's about
fame.
Yes.
It's about participation, and it's about championship.
And it's about making you ready for the championship, the world championship that will be staged in London.
Exactly.
So a lot of things come into play in the Diamond League. That's why a lot of athletes take part and they take it so serious. But we are looking at the middle distance and the long distance this time round. We are looking at the 5,000 meters. The reason why we're looking at the 5,000 now is that always we look at the sprint. That's where the big guys are. But I tell you, if you look at the names you mentioned, Mo Farah and those Egyptian guys like Kipsang and the other guys, look at this guy. These are guys who have won competition all over. They've been winning medals. Now they are coming together to compete in the 5,000 meters. So he tells you that, well, Mo Farah from England is the champion. But listen, this time around he's had a competition because, like Kalusha said, the Kenyans are well noted for this. It's not only Kenyans, the Eastern Africans.
The same block, yeah.
They are well noted for
Sudanese.
this. And the funny thing is that we have an American who was born in Kenya. We have a Canadian who was born
in Kenya.
So he tells you, the Canadian who was born in Somalia. Yeah. So he tells you that this is a race for the Eastern Africans. So whoever wins, it could be Mo Farah, it could be the American, it could be the Canadian. They still have a linkage with Africa.
Let's see what happens during the Diamond League event in Eugene, Oregon, USA. On this note, we'll pause for another break. When we come back, we'll talk European top soccer leagues. And of course, we have Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Monaco, and Real Madrid running away with all the titles from the 5 top European leagues. Let's listen to some commercials from Prestige and Gold Coast Trading Company.
Prestige Travel and Tours Promotion Inc. Fly now to Accra, Abuja, Abidjan, Lagos, Johannesburg, and many more. Special non-stop service from Washington to Accra via South African Airlines. Introductory rate of $899. Fly Prestige. Call us now at 1-800-232-9638.
Thanks for your time again, folks, for staying with us once again. We must acknowledge Prestige Tax and Travel Services as well as Gold Coast Trading Company. They are sponsors and they're making sure we bring you sports. And this is for Africans across the diaspora. This is Diasporan Sports on Diasporan TV. My name is Prince. Now let's deal with the European top soccer leagues where over the weekend we saw silverware for Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Juventus, and Monaco. The weekend was a crowning moment for the Blues, talking about Chelsea in the Premiership as John Terry bows out on a high note. Manchester City and Liverpool picked the remaining slot for Champions League, but Arsenal will compete in next season's Europa League after placing 5th. This is the first time Arsenal is placing 5th and outside the top 4 after 20 years. Let's enjoy some highlights from the final day of the 2016-17 English Barclays Premier League.
Chelsea, Premier League champions for 2017.
the age of 14 when I first signed at this football club. You've picked me up when I was down. You've sung my name when I've had bad games and disappointed you as well.
It's an amazing moment for us to celebrate this win. It's great for me, for the players to achieve this win. It's fantastic to celebrate with you, and I think that today is we have to celebrate in all the world. Come on, the Chelsea! Come on!
That was the English Barclays Premier League, and I've been joined by my man, Philin. Philin, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm good.
Great. What do you make of Chelsea's win finally? It's all over. Harry Kane, top scorer in the Premier League, even though Tottenham Hotspur finished second. Arsenal out of the top four. Chelsea are winners, even though last season they finished 10th.
This year, the league was Chelsea's to lose. They had been running away with the league. I mean, at one point, they won 13 consecutive games. It's hard to kind of surrender the lead when you are winning so many games. Last year, the difference maker for Leicester City winning the league was N'Golo Kante. Chelsea was smart enough to do business with Leicester and take away Kante and bring him back to Chelsea. He again came there. He was the difference maker in their midfield, and he led them to the title.
John Terry bowing out. He's seen it all. He's won about 5 titles with Chelsea, winning Champions League, winning Europa, and probably we will not see Diego Costa next season as well. He might be leaving Chelsea.
It's going to be an interesting summer. You know, there's a lot of rumors going around. Diego, like you said, going to China. Eden Hazard being poached by Real Madrid. So it will be interesting to see who stays. At this point, we don't even know if Antonio Conte is going to stay on for another year. So a lot of business is going to be done in the summer, and that will probably determine who are the potential top 4 for next year.
Great. Let me come over to Kalu. Kalu, Chelsea winning the English Premier League. What do you make of it?
They've done well because winning 5 Premier League titles is not mean an achievement because they are second to Manchester United in that aspect. By looking at Don Terry, we were talking about Don Terry played 492 games for Chelsea, scoring 41 goals. Defender, incredible performance by all standard. You know what is going to happen next season is that Chelsea is going to have it tough because the ring back formation, people are going to learn about it and they're going to do, counter some of their movement and all that. So what I've heard is that Roman Abramovich has been giving them 200 million pounds for poaching. So they are now going to Monaco, PSG for Marco Verratti. They're also going to Juventus for Leonardo Bonucci. They're also going to Real Madrid for Alvaro Morata. And they pencil out some players. In as much as those players to come to play for Chelsea will be a different ball game. But I think they're going to find it difficult come next season.
Interesting. Now in the Italian Serie A, treble chasing Juventus clinched a record 6 consecutive Serie A title thanks to a wonderful 3-0 victory over Crotone. Now, Massimiliano Allegri's side, who beat Lazio by 2-0 in the Italian Cup final last Wednesday, are bidding to become the second Italian side after Jose Mourinho's 2010 International Milan team to win the treble. They face off with Real Madrid in the Champions League final in Cardiff next Saturday, the 3rd of June. But before the Champions League final, Juve will make a trip to Bologna on the final day of Serie A next Sunday, and that is where the party will be. Kalusha, Juventus winning the Serie A for the 6th consecutive time. Unprecedented.
Incredible performance by all standard. And kudos to our own
Kudus Asamoah,
winning 5 titles with Juventus.
Okay.
I mean, right now we're having 2 center pairs of Giorgio Cellini and Leonardo Bonucci, and having an agile goalkeeper like Gigi Buffon. He's at the age of 41, but look at he's 20 years
with
old.
a superb right back in Dani Alves.
And Dani Alves, he's also scoring right from center. They also have this guy Sandro. He's also doing marvelous well. And then Pablo Dabala.
It's indeed an all-round team. Every side of the team is strong.
It's strong. So, I mean, as we right said, they were a little bit hacked by the when they lost 4-1 to Roma. That makes the competition tighter. But then in their subsequent match, they were able to do the justice and they won the match. And they were able to also win that, yesterday's game. So, I mean, it was for them to lose. So, kudos to Juventus. Massimo Allegri is doing well.
Massimiliano Allegri, his 3rd consecutive title since Conte left Juventus. Now, feeling, what do you make of the achievement? They're also gunning for the treble against Real Madrid. They'll be playing in the Champions League final.
Well, Peace, you know, it's been said that you can never underestimate the heart of a champion. You know, last week they had that slip-up with Roma losing the game 3-1, but it wasn't going to happen again this time. They came out, they were focused, they wanted to get the job, you know, the task at hand done and concentrate on the Champions League, and that's what they did.
Do you think the players they brought in made a difference, like Gonzalo Higuain, who joined them from Real Madrid, for instance, being the top scorer of the team? Do you think he changed the face of the team, even though they lost Paul Pogba to Manchester United?
Absolutely. You know, Gonzalo has something to prove. You know, coming from Real Madrid, where he was relegated to the bench, he absolutely had to show himself and his worth to the team and
likewise,
to his fans.
Khedira.
Absolutely, Sami Khedira, also coming from Real Madrid, he had to show that he belonged in the top flight, and that's what they did.
Fantastic. Juventus winning the Italian Serie A and also in the Spanish Premier La Liga. Real Madrid won their first title since 2012 thanks to a final day victory at Malaga. Real, who had only needed a point, now face Juventus in the Champions League final, looking to complete a double. Barcelona, who had won the past 2 titles in Spain, came from 2-0 down to beat Eibar 4-2, but they had needed Real to slip up if they were going to retain the title. But Zinedine Zidane's team, and of course Zidane, in his first full season as Real Madrid boss, is the first manager to lead Madrid to the Spanish league title since Jose Mourinho 5 years ago. If Real Madrid beats Juventus in Cardiff in the final of the Champions League, they will become the first team to successfully defend the UEFA Champions League in modern era, with Zinedine Zidane having won the tournament 6 months into the job last summer. And they defeated Atletico Madrid, and again they playing Juventus. What do you make of Real Madrid winning the La Liga?
Good. They slipped by, but they were able to gather the pieces. And then they did what is expected of them by winning their 2 remaining games.
What does it mean for Zinedine Zidane?
Zidane has seen it all as a player and as a coach. And right now, there's going to be a misfeeling because he played for Juventus some time ago when he was playing with Trezeguet. In 1996, they won the game. By 1998,
they lost out to Real Madrid.
But he came to Real Madrid and won the Champions League in 2001.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he has seen it all. He's done it well. But right now, people have been tagging Cristiano Ronaldo. By this particular game or this particular team, my team of the Real Madrid is Isco. He has been phenomenal. He has been...
Your player of the Real Madrid
setup.
It's Isco.
It's Isco. His performance of late is phenomenal.
What about Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored all the goals?
No, Cristiano Ronaldo scored the goals, but then he needs some passes from the midfield to clean the deal.
So you love Isco? You pick Isco this season in Real Madrid setup?
Yeah, because when you look at Cristiano Ronaldo in their what do you call it, their games, and then his assists to the game, he scored 25 goals this particular season, only 6 assists. And it means that he doesn't do much in terms of assisting the players. But when you go to Barcelona, you could see that Messi scored 37 goals, 9 assists. And then the king of Premier League was
Harry Kane.
No, I'm talking about assists. Premier League assist king was Luis Suarez with 13 assists. And but
scoring the goals is more important than assisting. If Ronaldo has scored more goals you should give him the credit. Likewise, Isco, who's been assisting.
Even Luis Suarez scored 29 goals. It was second to Messi, and he also gave 13 assists. So if you're a player and you are scoring goals, you also have at times need to give some passes for players to score. That's what I'm saying.
But he's been assisting, of course.
No, he's not been assisting that
Just
much.
that this season he didn't get enough. Phil, what do you make of Kalusha's argument? He's picking Isco as the best in the Real Madrid setup this season.
Well, I have to disagree with you there, Kalusha. First of all, Cristiano Ronaldo is a top-notch forward. Forwards get paid millions of pounds to score goals. Forget about the assist. First of all, I don't even know where this assist category came from, because in the past, nobody cared about who gave the assist. It was all about goalies or goalkeepers getting the clean sheets, as well as the forwards banging goals. That's what it was all about. You know, now we have become so soft that we want to give credit to people who give passes so the forwards can score goals. If you give an assist, that's fine, but if you don't score goals, you don't win.
Interesting argument there, but I need to hold it on. That's football. That's the beauty of the game. If we keep on talking, we'll talk and talk and talk, because if we have to award players who do the best of assists, I think Andres Iniesta would have been adjudged the best player in the world.
Absolutely.
many years ago.
Absolutely.
That's it, with Real Madrid winning the Spanish Premier La Liga. To France, champions Monaco wrapped up their Ligue 1 season with a 12th straight league victory to match Paris Saint-Germain's record of 13 wins in a single season. Great display by Monaco, and they've taken over despite Paris Saint-Germain also losing Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Manchester United. They brought in Edinson Cavani, but they couldn't maintain the title.
No, absolutely fantastic job by Monaco. Do we expect to see them repeat next year? Probably not. You know, the team they have this year, that team is going to be disassembled, because once the player gains some exposure, then the top teams in Europe comes and they spend money and they buy the players. So players like Mbappe, he more than likely will not be there next year. So you're not going to see Monaco winning the league next year.
Are we going to see Monaco defend the Ligue 1 title?
Most probably. Why not? Because they've done it some time ago. And around now, they have Romero Falcao coming to score 20 goals. Because he went to Manchester, he didn't do anything. He went to Chelsea, he didn't do it, but he was able to find his rhythm. He's the captain of the squad. Mbappe has been doing well of late. But just that if you have an experienced player who encourages you to do what he knows best, then most probably it's going to be something different. So I think next year, they're going to struggle for the title again. And I think with the core of players, they're going to do some pluses in their squad and we'll take the title.
Fantastic. Up in the Bavarian region, Bayern Munich, Captain Philipp Lahm was given a touching farewell as he ended his soccer career with the German champions. Of course, he'll be living alongside Xabi Alonso, the Spanish international, for Germany's 2014 World Cup winning captain Philipp Lahm. He's 33 years now. He played his 517th and final game for the Bundesliga champions as they were crowned the champions of the 2016-17 season. Also, midfielder Xabi Alonso, 35 years, and keeper Tom Stark, 36 years, I must say. They were also presented with a gift as they were leaving the team as players not to return or players going on retirement. Kalusha, Xabi Alonso, Stark, Philipp Lahm, hanging their boots, but they've done so well for football, especially Philipp Lahm winning the World Cup, likewise Xabi Alonso winning the World Cup, and they've all won the Champions League and great titles from Spain to Germany.
What a player, Philipp Lahm.
Philipp Lahm never received a red card in his entire football career.
Even the yellow cards that he received, it is not even counted to 10. The guy has been phenomenal. What a defender. Defender who has the heart of a midfielder. The guy, I love him so much. He's also disciplined. He's down to earth. He helps his team. He talks well. He can play in any position in the squad. But people always see him at the right side of the defense. He can play at the left-hand side. He can play at the heart of the defense. Midfield, everywhere he can put his
The description you're giving to Philipp Lahm is the exact description of current Black Star coach Kwesi Appiah. He never received a red card. He was a clean defender. He could play at the left back, the right back, and everywhere. His nickname was Mayele. He was such a brilliant defender, but unfortunately, he couldn't win any major title with the national football team. But he never received a red card in his career. Philin, what do you make of Philipp Lahm, Xabi Alonso hanging their boots at Bayern Munich?
Well, I don't know if receiving a red card taints you as a defender. You know, one of my all-time favorite defenders in Nemanja Vidic. Yeah. Almost every time they'll play Liverpool, my man got tossed. But he was one of the best in the game. But I like something you said about Philipp Lahm. The guy has been very disciplined and committed. Yeah. You know, he served the German national team really well, as well as Bayern Munich. And it was fantastic to see Bayern honor him like that.
Exactly. Great footballer, Philipp Lahm. Carlo, I know you want to add more. Quickly, Xabi Alonso, fantastic player. We've seen a lot from him. From Spain, going, okay, quickly.
I mean, Xabi Alonso was at Liverpool. He did well, and he came over to Real Madrid. And he went to Bayern Munich, another disciplined player. He's seen it all.
He won the World Cup in 2010 as well with Spain.
Probably. I mean, he's one of the greatest midfielders in our time. I mean,
yeah, he has terrific shots.
Terrific shot and
great free kick taker.
It's very, very hard to see two of the world most influential players, talking about Philipp Lahm and Xabi Alonso buying out at this time. It breaks my heart.
Now, let's talk NBA. And we'll do more on MVP LeBron James being omitted. And we'll talk more about players who have been named to contest for the Most Valuable Player Award for the NBA 2017. We'll be doing that after this quick break. Please stay with us.
What started off as a traditional African market is now home to worldwide cuisines. Gold Coast Trading has all the ingredients to create delicacies from continent to continent. And Gold Coast Trading is your destination for all your ethnic food needs.
And delightful welcome back from that quick break. You are live on Diasporan Sports on Diasporan TV. This is your trusted channel that displays accurate sports and updated sports to all Africans across the globe. Let's talk Europa League final. It's coming up live, and Manchester United is playing against Ajax Amsterdam. Now, Philin is here. Philin, big game for Manchester United. What do you make of this game? If United wins, they will make it into the Champions League, even though they finished sixth in the English Premier League.
You know, first of all, a team like Manchester United, it is never their objective from the beginning of the season to be playing in the Europa League. You know, Europa League compared to Champions League is like the
second tier.
It's like the ugly stepsister nobody wants to take to the prom.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. But you know, extreme situation requires extreme measures. And that's what has brought United into fighting for this championship. You know, when the ugly girl has no date for the prom, at the last minute, who do you go to? You go to the ugly girl. And just like that, no top flight player wants to play on a Thursday night. Yeah. They'd rather play on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night. Right. But because United has fallen so low right now on the table, we've put all of our eggs in one basket, and we want to win this Europa League so we can make our way into the Champions League.
Interestingly, he is hoping Manchester United can win and make their way into the Champions League. What do you make of Manchester United's progress in the Europa League? Now they are in the final, even though they finished in the English Premier.
Well, the Premiership was very tough for United. And as we know, Jose Mourinho, he realized that, listen, I can't get to the top four in the Premiership. So
he set a target in the Europa League.
He just tried to use a back door to play in the Champions League. I don't begrudge him. It's a smart move to make sure that when the going is getting tough for you, and you can use a back door to go into the competition.
That is the rules of the game.
Yes, to go into the competition that you feel that is where you belong. I don't begrudge them. But listen, it's not going to be easy for Man U. They think that they've passed through all the group stages to the quarters and to the semis to this stage.
You think Ajax can stop Man United from winning the title?
Anything at all can happen when it comes to the final stage. Anything at all can happen. Man U starts as favorite, but Ajax Amsterdam can spring a surprise. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ajax Amsterdam beat Man U to win the Europa.
So your bet is on Ajax Amsterdam. If you will not be surprised to see them beat Manchester United.
Prince, but hold on 1 second. Now, first of all, who needs the game the most? who needs it the most is
Manchester
Manchester United.
Yes.
Why do you need the most?
Ajax finished second in their league. If they lose the Europa League final on Wednesday, they still have to play in the qualifying round.
It's not only about the Champions League, it's about winning the title. You think you don't like the Europa Cup, but now you want it. Ajax thing is a title for them, they can take it. So
now we want it
about the Champions League.
We want it for two reasons. One, is our only way right now to get into the Champions League. So it's a must-have for United right now.
Yeah.
It may not be the same motive or mentality for Ajax.
This Ajax boys
is probably the
young guys who are hungry.
Okay, so you tipping Ajax and you tipping Manchester United. Let's see what happens on Wednesday night. Away from the Europa League final, let's talk NBA, where four-time most valuable player LeBron James has suggested that putting Cleveland Cavaliers in a position to be successful and ultimately compete for a championship means a lot to him than winning an MVP. LeBron James played Game 2 against the Celtics last Friday night without realizing he was not one of the three finalists for the NBA MVP award. But of course, the NBA announced the MVP finalists about 10 minutes before the Cavs-Celtics game tipped off, and James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard are the three finalists for the award, which will definitely be announced on the 26th of June. This marks the first time since 2008 that LeBron James has finished outside the top three in the MVP voting. James lamented to reporters when he was asked about his failure to make the top three cut and what are you going to do about it? At the end of the day, that was the question, and LeBron James said, "My only job is to try to be the MVP for this team every night, put my teammates, puts our franchise in our position to be successful and ultimately compete for a championship. MVP voting is not for me to be concerned about," he stated. Now let's take a look at some LeBron James highlights for the season, and when we come back into the studio, we'll discuss whether he deserved to be in the top three or not.
The Samsung Gear S3, the Boston Celtics facing the defending champion Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cavs looking to make it 11 straight wins in this postseason.
That's the first lead for the Celtics in this series.
And here's J.R. Smith for three.
Well, as you can see, Cleveland is not.
James backs his way in, and Crowder took the ball right out of his hands.
That's the toughness that we're used to seeing from the Celtics smalls, their small forward specifically.
James gets it away. James on the rebound. They have another. No, they lost it. Smart took it away. Can Crowder get to it? He does. Able to chase it down. LeBron had it knocked away, and ball will be back to Boston. Here's how Amir Johnson hurt his shoulder. James isolated against Crowder, turns and shoots, and hits. What a beautiful shot by LeBron James. Holford wheeling in on Thompson, and James comes from against the Chicago Bulls. Now here's James on the move, and he draws the foul. Throughout the playoffs until this series began, as LeBron James comes up short. Holford overall for the playoffs averaging 15 points, shooting just under. Holford for three. A corner three from Kyle Holford. Wasn't that close. Here's the alley-oop from James. Derek Williams with just a nod to LeBron. Irving now being played by Crowder, trying to grab the ball out of his hands. Irving got the step and then lost it. Shumpert back. Oh, Bradley.
I'm ready for Game 7. I packed for 7 games.
We all did. Had a foul against the. It's such a different game without Isaiah Thomas. Of course, as Irving gets to the rim. Beautiful shot by Kyrie. And certainly the Celtics wish you were here and did help. Pass from James picked off. Holford with the steal. Smith back on the floor with that rebound. Beautiful pass. And LeBron James has given the Cavs their biggest lead of the night.
What an unbelievable outlet.
Collins hits the three.
This is getting ridiculous.
Here's James from the angle. LeBron to this point has been quiet. 8 points. Here comes James spinning on Olynyk and gets the roll. LeBron on the spin, lost the handle, recovered, and drew the foul. As playoff game. James thought he was fouled, does not get the call. Crowder. Over Crowder.
But I do like the trust.
All right, here's James on the drive. Batted away by Jerebko. Lead pass, Jerebko chases it down, and it's lead over Atlanta. They saw that slip away. Next night, they blew an 11-point fourth quarter lead against Miami and lost in overtime. Game 1, you remember, they were a C.J. Miles jumper away from a loss very early. Only 3 minutes gone by on the fourth. James forced that three, and it's deflected out. Last touch by Thompson. Here's LeBron trying to bank it. Olynyk with the rebound. Good defense by the Celtics. LeBron shoots for three. Thompson scrambles for the rebound again and draws the foul.
He's been the lifesaver for the Cavaliers. 1 and 9 in those games.
2 minutes, 54.9 remaining in the fourth. Celtics by 1. 3-point lead for the Celtics. They double up on James. Here's Smith for three. Yes!
And that was a mistake by J.R. Crowder. Doubling down on LeBron James.
Played by James. 5 seconds remaining. Bradley. Bounces home. 1/10 of a second remaining. Will the Cavaliers call for time? I would think they... No, they're not calling. With 1/10, you can only guide it in. You can only deflect it. So the Boston Celtics, in a major surprise, have defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers here in Cleveland. A stunner. And this series is now 2-1 in favor of the Cavaliers. This following the 2 straight blowouts, including a 44-point victory by Cleveland in Game 2.
And I guess that Leprechaun does try.
So that was some display and highlights from LeBron James. Great player. He's been in the All-Star team back-to-back, and now he's out of the MVP for the first time in as many years, Richard.
Well, for me, it shouldn't bother him at all. I look at his statement from 2 angles. One is like, well, I have won it 4 times already. Why should I be bothered if I didn't make the cut this time around? Then 2, I see it like, well, it looks like he's a bit bitter because he thought he could have gotten into the cut again to at least be among the top 3. But it looks like he couldn't make it. Maybe if you look at the statement, you could also say that he's a little bit bitter. But the point is, he's not looking at the MVP. He's rather placing the importance of his team winning the championship ahead of the MVP.
You don't think he's been a team player now because he's been omitted from the MVP awards?
He's always been a team player. He tries to let the team win. That's the most important thing.
But he never said that when he was being nominated.
That's what I'm saying, that one, you may think that he's a little bit bitter. That's why this time when he's saying...
He's taking consolation in the team's display.
It's about winning for the team, not my personal glory. But
fantastic. This now moving away from his personal glory to achievement with the team. He's been a fantastic team player. I mean, when he was scouted from school, he was good back in Ohio, playing for Cleveland, going down to Miami to play for the Heat, spending about 3 seasons back to Cavaliers, and now he's not part of the MVP awards, even though he's playing so well. 10 minutes after the announcement was made, he went out there, he picked about 30 points. What do you make of LeBron James' omission from the MVP awards?
First of all, I gotta tell you, LeBron James is the biggest crybaby in the NBA. The man cries at every call that doesn't go his way. And I gotta give him credit. The man presents well on camera. But behind camera, like Richard said, he's very bitter. You know, after hearing the news, he came out like a man possessed. And he dropped 34 on the Celtics. There was no way of stopping him. But the NBA's MVP award is one that has been scrutinized over the years. Does it really go to the best player in the league? Does it go to the person who helps the team the most? That has always been questionable. And if he goes to the best player, he is the best player in the league, then he should get the award. But then he will get it every single year. So it goes to, I think they award the person whose contribution helps the team the most. And that's why he's outside the top 3.
Let's take a look at the top 3. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook. I think James Harden is automatic out.
Well, how you figure? I think you're probably going to look at his game against the San Antonio Spurs.
Of course, he was poor.
But the MVP is for the regular season, not for the playoffs.
But look at the competition. Despite not for the playoffs, we've seen people displaying above themselves at the final part of the competition.
All right.
And James Harden didn't do that.
Well,
so I would take James Harden out of the top 3.
Okay, one thing is the MVP voting is submitted by the media before the playoffs begin. So whatever he did during the playoffs has no bearing on his consideration for the MVP. Okay. It's strictly on the regular season. But I must agree with you, not that he's out of the running, but he is going to finish second to Russell Westbrook. While James Harden had a great season, Russell had a historic season, and that's the difference between the two.
Is it about who had the historic season or who had a great season? I mean, historic, it means he's not done it before. But if you look at James Harden, he was on top the whole...
And James Harden has been the MVP player before.
The only problem for him was the last game that he, like you said the other time, that he choked. And you can't use that single game to decide who becomes the MVP. So I believe he could still win the MVP. James Harden can still win the MVP.
I highly doubt it. See, on paper, the Rockets have a much better team than the Oklahoma City Thunder. If it had been anybody else outside Russell Westbrook, they would not even have made the playoffs, especially in the tough Western Conference. Russell Westbrook was able to take a bunch of bums and nobodies and make them a contender for a playoff team.
Great display there. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics were announced as the recipient of the #1 overall NBA draft pick last Tuesday night. Now, in 2013, the Celtics traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce to the Nets for a bounty of first-round picks as Boston chose the future over its aging present. While the Nets hoped to turn into instant contenders, Boston had to wait its turn. With the top selection in next month's draft, the result of a pick swap with the Nets made possible by that 2013 trade, the Celtics would definitely get their pick of a guard-heavy bunch. Your quick comment on this one.
Right now, I think it's an embarrassment of riches for the Boston Celtics.
Why?
Usually, you don't have a team winning 53 games in the regular season, get the #1 draft pick. It normally will go to the teams with the lowest record. But like you said, because they traded Garnett and Pierce to the Brooklyn Nets, they were able to absorb their pick for this year. And fortunately for them, they got the #1 pick. Now, this is going to be a very difficult decision for the Boston organization because this year's draft pick, if you look at the top 10, they're very, very guard-oriented. A lot of point guards, a lot of shooting guards, not a lot of great big men. They have, if you look at their roster, they have 15 players. 6 of them are guards, including the top scorer, Isaiah Thomas. So do you bring in another guard and relegate one of your top scorers? I don't know. It's going to be a very big decision for Danny Ainge and the Boston organization. But when it comes to drafts and trades, Danny Ainge has been very methodical. So I see him handling this well.
On this note, we'll draw the curtains down on today's edition of the show. Thanks for coming, Philin. Thanks so much for coming, Richard. I must thank you, Kalusha, for coming through as well. And thank you so much for staying behind your screen and also watching us online. We're on YouTube and we are on your social networks as well. This has been Diasporan Sports on Diasporan TV. Of course, your #1 sports show for Africans across the diaspora. So keep watching Diasporan Sports. We'll continue giving you the best. And until then, we'll see you another time. Bye for now.